Dave Roberts now available. First question from Juan Toribio. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave. Just kind of wondering, how's Auber feeling?
I talked to just briefly saw him talk to the training staff. They say that he's feeling better. I wouldn't say full strength, but recovered enough to be ready to help us win a ball game. So it's good to get him back. The corresponding move is Vasquez. Andrew, we're making a move with him.
How much thought do you give to kind of putting Auber into the lineup against the lefty, or does it kind of factor in the way that he's feeling?
It's just more of just having him back on the roster and giving him an opportunity to take an at bat or come into a game. I think right now where we're at, if I can get him a start here, potentially on Friday, that might be a possibility, but we'll kind of read and react.
And do you know how you're going to line up with your rotation for the weekend yet?
I think it's going to be Clayton. I think Clayton on Saturday. So Tony's going Friday, and then Clayton will be on Saturday, and then we'll figure out Sunday. But as of now, Walker.
So right now it's Tony tomorrow. Is it? So are you pushing Tony back?
Yeah, Tony tomorrow, and then it goes Clayton. Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Next question's from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Dave, how's Justin Turner feeling at this point in the season with a week left?
You know what? I think like all players, they're all kind of the word that baseball players use is grinding. But if you look at Justin, I've leaned on him a ton this year. I think it's the most he's played in 5 years. So he's getting through it. I just, for me, it was my decision to get him a day today. Could he play? Absolutely. I just think that to keep him fresh is the best for the Dodgers and for him. So he wants to be in there. He'll be ready when called upon. But like I said, Jorge, I've leaned on him a ton this year. And so it's always hard to keep him out of the lineup, but I just think it's best for him and for all of us.
Sort of off that, is there a balance between going all in this week, these next 5 games, and holding out and preparing for a possible wildcard game on Tuesday, making sure your team's at 100% for that? What's sort of the balance there?
Yeah, there is a balance. And I think that I think we are going all in. And even, not playing, one of our better players, I think that the health component, looking short and long term, specifically in this case, Justin, is important. And when you plug in Chris Taylor, I don't think you're giving up anything. So I think that it is threading the needle, a little balancing act. But whether I give a guy a day off or not, I still believe that my and everyone in there is the goal is to win the game tonight and give us the best chance.
And with Cody, I know it's obviously a lefty, so that's probably why he's not starting. But is he available? Tonight, moving forward, do you anticipate putting him in center field?
Yeah, Cody's available tonight. He'll start tomorrow. Looking at the roster, we have a lot of good options, and so it's my job to kind of figure out how to mix and match and keep everyone relevant, involved. But yeah, to your question, he's feeling good. He's working hard. He's in a good headspace, and he's ready to help us in any way he possibly can.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next question's from Fabiano. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, I know we asked you probably a lot of times over the course of the year, just going from 60 to 162, but now that you guys are sort of at the end of 162, I mean, how have you sort of seen guys sort of handle that physically, just going back to that? And is that sort of changed how you've managed since September, or have some of the injuries sort of solved that itself?
A little combo. I think the injuries itself, mostly to the pitching side, kind of solved itself, and we had a lot of guys step up. But I think the other side of it is we've saved bullets, a lot of those with a lot of those arms, specifically to Walker and Julio and Max. You know, they haven't really had that recovery, and they've managed it really well, you know, this year for each one of those guys individually. Now it's about, you know, the march to winning the World Series and whatever it takes. And there's an adrenaline part of it. You know, no one's going to be 100%. This is part of the cost or the benefit of playing for a championship. You know, that's some of the fruits. So I don't expect guys, but everyone wants to be in there, and you know, no one's making excuses. So we've gotten through it, Fabian, to your question, and now it's time to go.
And then I know you sort of talked about how well Seager's been playing the last few months. So what is that sort of like stood out to you about what he's looked like since he's come back from that hand injury?
I think Corey's playing fantastic baseball across the board, first and foremost. I think that he's been in playoff mode for, call it, 4 weeks. And so I think that that's kind of enhanced his play. You know, when you get guys that play every single day, it gets to be a grind. When you're not mixing and matching like we have done in years past. But, you know, Corey is really, for me, as far as kind of the everyday players, has really separated himself. And so now it's kind of on everyone else to kind of follow that lead.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Next question's from Dylan Hernandez. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave. You know, whether it's you guys or the Giants, we're gonna have a 100 team, you know, win team here, kind of in a single game, you know, a single elimination situation. Just kind of looking at this, I mean, I guess something like this was bound to happen eventually, but as you kind of look ahead, would you want to see maybe some kind of changes in the system where, you know, a team that's won 100 games doesn't end up in a situation like that?
Certainly this year. I think that, you know, the great thing about sports, and the ones that get it right, is you continue to evolve and kind of turn every stone over and see what ultimately gives the best teams the chance to ultimately, you know, meet up when it matters most. And so, you know, this year, obviously, it might not bode best for the Dodgers or the Giants. In another year, it might. I just think that continuing to have these conversations is going to make our industry, you know, Major League Baseball in general, better. Certainly looking at being a 100-win team and potentially being in a 1-game sudden death, I don't think is appealing to us or the Giants, but it is what it is. And right now in this year in 2021, I don't kind of put too much time into it because it's kind of what our fate is or potentially could be. But having that conversation, Dylan, I think is very healthy.
And Dave, you know, I think it was last week or maybe the week before, we kind of talked about how battle tested your team has been, you know, over the last several years. I'm just wondering if you do kind of end up in that 1-game situation, do you think that experience kind of factors in at all in a situation like that?
I do. I do. I think that our guys, you know, if presented with that, then we'll embrace it. And I think the great thing about, you know, baseball or any game is you still got to go out there and play it and execute. And that's what the media, the fans, and everyone feeds off of. So, you know, if it gets to that point, I know we'll be prepared, you know, for that night, day, whatever, and also with the history experience. But right now we're, you know, like I do is we want to win tonight.
And when you say just one last one from me, when you say Sunday's undetermined, does that mean you could potentially, like, if somehow things kind of flip your next couple of days, you'd be holding Walker basically for a 163?
You know, we haven't made that decision. I just think that Walker's expecting to pitch Sunday, but ultimately the ultimate goal is to win the World Series. So if we have to read and react to increase our chances to do that, we'll do so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Next questions from JP Hornstra. Go ahead.
Hey Dave, how much does it change your game planning for Milwaukee knowing you don't have to face Devin Williams this weekend?
I don't think it changes as far as this weekend. Certainly it's a big hit to their club, their pen. I don't think it changes up lineup construction. Obviously it's one less player that we have to prepare for.
And I'm going to put you on the spot at the risk of being unfair here, but has Max done enough to establish himself as the front runner for the Cy Young Award?
He has. Yeah, I think that, it's a pretty simple answer for me, and not to take anything away from Walker or Burns or Woodruff or whoever else is in the mix.
Cool. Thank you.
You got it.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, guys.
everybody. I got